lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, please help us by hitting on that red icon to subscribe, and also touch the notification bell to be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And please, we have a new channel now, Styles with Solumu. Please help us. There you see different styles for different occasions. Okay, just please extend your love to that channel and subscribe. Let's hit 1k subscribers. Thank you so much. And now today's class we shall be looking at how to make a very beautiful pieces gown, off shoulder pieces gown with ruffles. So here I have my 3 yards of this light scuba material. Okay, we'll be using this for the full gown. Why this? We have 3 yards of organza here. This will be for the off-shoulder ruffles. Okay, so look at your screen and see what we are about to achieve. Okay, so already I've cut this. I've divided this as 10 inches. Okay, I've cut it out 10 inches. All this piece, the 3 yards. So I'm going to be joining them. I will join them long, then fold into 2 like so. I'll fold it into 2. Okay, then stitch it out, then turn it, then use my iron to make it come out beautiful before making the ruffles at the shoulder area. That will be after we must have finished making our gown. Okay, here I folded my fabric into 2. Okay, because we'll be cutting it piece by piece. So down here you determine how full you want the down part to be. So I want mine to be 10 inches. Okay, that's when I open it up, it will be giving me 20 per piece. Okay, but here I have 11 inches because I want to be using the 1 inch. I'll be using the 1 inch allowance for the joining. So I'll be using half an inch for each of the join of the sides. So at the down part I'm making use of 11 inches. So fold your fabric to whatever inches that you desire. So another thing to consider is the length of the gown that we are working with. I'm working with 57 inches of length. Okay, the half length is 14 inches. So 14 minus 57 minus 14 will be giving us 43 inches. Will be giving us 43 inches. I'll be adding extra 1 inch for the joining of the upper part. So here I have 44 inches. So I'm going to mark 44 inches on this upper part. Okay. Then for our gown, our normal waist to hip line is 9 inches, and the under hip is 13 inches. So I'll go ahead. Okay, the new line we'll use here I'll be using 17 inches for the new line. So I'll go ahead now to mark this. You can also use this method when working for your pieces skirts. Okay, whether 8 inches, 6 inches, how many inches that you want to work with, you can use this style, this pattern to achieve that. So the next thing to do is to use our hip measurement. We'll be using our hip measurement to determine the waist, the hip, and the rest. Okay, so the hip we are working with is 40 inches, and what we are making is 6 pieces. So that 40 now we'll divide it by 6, and what we have is 6.66. So approximately I'll be working with 6.7 inches. Okay, all right, 6.7. Then we will divide that by 2. Okay, I'll be dividing it by 2 because I folded this into 2. So I would also divide that 6.6 or 6 point whatever thing that you have by 2. So when I divide that, okay, so I'll just work with 3.5 inches. Then I'll be adding extra inches for my allowance. I'll be adding 1 inch for my allowance. I'm using this 1 inch because I'm not going to line this one. Secondly, this fabric is stretchy, but if you're working with Ankara, please add up to 1.5 inches, because after you must have torn it with the lining before joining it, it will consume more allowance. Okay, so I'm just using 1 inch for this because it's stretchy and I'm not adding lining to it. So I'll be using 4.5 altogether for my measurement. So I'll just mark 4.5 here at the waistline, 4.5 at the hip line. I'll also mark that 4.5 at my under hip. Okay, then coming to my knee line, I will remove some. So either you take away 0.75, 0.5 or 1 inch. So at the knee line, I'll be taking away, you know, what you here is 4.5. So I'll be using 3.75. So I'm taking away 0.75. So I'm using 3.75. You can as well use 3.5, but I'll be using 3.75. So I'll just go ahead now and connect all those lines. After doing this now, you can just go ahead and connect from those points. You can go ahead and connect from those points now down to the hem line. Okay. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out. So this is what we have for one piece. So I'm going to use this now to cut out extra 4, making it 5. Okay, I'll cut extra 4 to make it 5 piece. Okay, I've placed this at another fabric. Okay, so you can just be interchanging the down part and the upper part so that it will save your fabric instead of cutting one way, except the fabric has a pattern. But if it doesn't, just keep on interchanging it so that you will save up some materials. So I'll just go ahead now and cut this out. Okay, now I've cut out 5 bits for the 6 pieces. So you know the whole pieces that we use to make 6 pieces is 7 pieces, because the zipper area will be divided into 2, okay, which will give us 1. All right, but we'll divide it into two where the zip will pass through. Okay, so because of that, we are using 4.5. We used 4.5, sorry, to achieve the 5. So what we are going to do now is to add up what we need for the zip allowance. So what we use is 4.5. Okay, so I'll be using 1.5 for my zip allowance. So I'll just add that 1.5, which will now give us 6 inches. Okay, so now for this zip area we'll be working with 6 inches, but because we are folding into 2, I will still divide this 6 by 2, which will give us 3 inches. Okay, so now for you to know actually what to use for the zip allowance, let's work like this. 4.5 that we use for this, when we open it up, it will give us 9 inches. Okay, it will give us 9 inches. Then for the zip one, we have 6. Okay, we have 3 inches. Then when we open it up, it will give us what? 6 inches. So 6 plus 6 will give us 12 inches. But when we take away this, when we take away 9 inches from this 12 inches, it will give us what? 3 inches. So each of the zip area will take 1.5 inches. Each of them will take 1.5 inches. So that when we take away the 1.5 inches, we will get 9 inches that we have for the other ones. Hope it's clear enough. Okay, so now I'll proceed. I'll get my waistline, my hip line, my under hip, my knee line, and the length of the dress. Okay, so from here now I will mark my 3 inches. Here again I will mark my 3 inches. I'll mark my 3 inches. At this point I will be marking 1/2 inch. At this point I will remove 1/2 inch and I will mark 2.5. Okay, I'll mark 2.5. So I'll just go ahead and connect this. I'm going to be using this now to cut out the other piece. Okay, coming to the upper part, I have to fold my fabric into 2. Remember that what we are doing is off shoulder. So here you have to determine what you want to take off. Okay, so I'm taking 5 inches out. So here now I'll place my tape this way. This is my 5 inches. Okay, and the half length I'm working with is 14 inches, but I'll be adding extra 1 inch to it. Okay, making it 15 inches. The next thing to find is our under bust, which is 13 inches. I'm adding 1/2 inch to it to make it 13.5. Then my shoulder to nipple is 10 inches. I'll add 1/2 inch to it to make it 10.5. Then my upper bust is 7.5 inches. So I'll just go ahead now to make a straight line to connect all those. Okay, so here I'll go ahead now to take my measurements. Then here, first of all, we are going to impute our nipple to nipple measurements. Okay, that's the difference between one nipple to the other. What I have is 7 inches into 2 to give us 3.5. I'll be adding just 0.25 to make it 3.75. So I'll mark 3.75 here. I'll mark 3.75 here. And I'll mark 3.75 here. So I'm going to do this down to the allowance. Okay. So coming here, instead of marking this 3.75, I'm going to add extra 1 inch to it to make it 4.75. Okay, I'll just make it 4.5. So I'm going to connect this to this. I'm going to be connecting this. Okay. So I'll come down here, adjust my waistline, and I'll come out this side by 1 inch, this side by 1 inch. I'll come out by 1 inch here, and I'll come out by 1 inch here. I'll do the same thing at this under bust, 1 inch and 1 inch. Okay. Coming to my nipple. Okay, coming to my shoulder to nipple line, I'll come down by 1 inch. Okay, then I will go up by 1 inch, come down by 1 inch and go up by 1 inch. All right, so I'm going to curve this to join this 1 inch, and I'm going to also curve this to join this 1 inch. Okay, I'm going to connect it this way. All right, then I'm going to connect this way. Okay, so coming up here, I'm going to come out by 1 inch on this side, then I'm going to connect it to this 1 inch here. Here now, 1 inch, 1 inch. I'm going to connect from this to this point, to this 1 inch that we came up at the bust line, and here I'm going to connect this to that same point. Okay. I'm just trying to link this. So after doing this, now we go ahead to input our measurements. The bust I'm working with, I'll be using this place as my bust measurement. Okay, the bust I'm working with is 36 inches into 4 to give us 9 inches. So I'll mark my 9 inches. Then I will add extra. I'll add 1.5 inch to it. Okay, so I'll come back here now. Check what you have here. Anything you have here, you put it back, because we are going to remove this. Okay, so I'm going to check what I have here, and what I have is 1 inch. So I'm going to put this 1 inch back to this place. So I'm going to add this 1 inch back. Okay, so now we are making use of this line. All right, then also I'm going to come back to this waistline and impute our waist measurements. Okay, if you know, some people, they normally their waistline and their under bust there is much different. Okay, so if you are taking your measurement that way, you have to take your under bust measurement, the round of it. But if not, I'm using my under bust measurement, the round of it, to determine my waist. Okay, all right, so the waist I'm working with is 13 inches, then into 4 to give us 13 to 4 to give us 7.5. So I will come back here and impute my 7.5. Then I will add my allowance of 1.5 inches. Then I will come back here to check what I have here. Okay, so I have 2 inches here. Remember, we take away 1 inch here, 1 inch this side, so what we have is 2 inches. I'm going to go back here to impute back my 2 inches. Please do not forget to input whatever thing that you have here. If not, you will have shortage of material. So make sure you take whatever thing you remove back to the side. Okay, all right, so I'm going to just join this line. Okay, so here now will be our, I'm just going to connect this from this place now to this. It will now serve as our armhole. Okay, all right, so you can feel free now to do the neckline you want. But looking at our picture, you will see that it is straight because of the ruffles there. Okay, no design, no shape at the center front. So I'm going to leave everything like so. I'll go ahead now and trim this out. So this is what we have for the front. Assuming we are using we are making use of lining, we'll just use this now to cut out the lining, but I won't be using lining for this material, so I won't be padding it. I'll just go ahead and make my stitches. Okay, all right, so we'll go proceed now to cut out the back piece. Okay, for the back, we have to mark out 1.5 inches. Remember that the down part, we left 1.5 inches for the zipper area. So at this point again, we have to mark out 1.5 inches for the zip area. So I'm going to take back the 15 inches minus 5. Okay. And our chest upper bust is 7.5. 7.5. Then here is the length. Okay, so I think this is the only thing we need for the back. So at those points, I'm going to impute my darts. Okay, I want to have a sharp that line, so we'll just mark here. I'll mark so here I'll mark 3.75 at the upper part here, I'll mark 3.75 here, and I'll mark 3.75 down here. I'll just connect the lines. Okay, all sure. So at this junction now, I won't add any other allowance because this is straight. Remember that the same thing you use is what you will use at this upper part, but for the front you have to add, okay, to get the curve proper. So here I'm going to impute our body measurement starting from this part. Remember that here is the zip allowance. So from here we have 9 inches. When we divide our bust by 4, then I'll add extra inches, which is 1.5, okay, for the allowance. Then the down part is 7.5. So I'll add that 7.5 here. I'll add that 7.5, and I'll add 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to connect this now. I'll connect from here to here. So at this point now, I'll just connect this. So I don't have to make any neckline here, so I'll just go ahead and cut all those things out. So I'll just go to my machine now and do all the joining, both the back and the front, then do for the down part also, and I will attach it. Then we will proceed on doing the ruffles at the round piece. I'll just cut out a small piece band for the sleeve, okay, just a small piece for the band, but I don't want to cut it now because I have to join this back and front. Then I will take the measurements of the neckline of those two. Whatever thing I have, I will minus it from my normal from the person's round shoulder, okay. Whatever thing you have for the round shoulder, like this particular client is 40, so when you join this and join this, the back and the front together, you measure what you have at the front, then what you have at the back, then you minus it by this 40. Whatever thing you have left is what you will use to cut out the sleeve. Okay, so this is the, let me say, the skeleton of it. Okay, this is the main dress. So just go ahead now and pleat the ruffles at this upper part. This is the ruffles. I'll fold it and iron it out. So I'll just make the ruffles round the shoulder line. I've pleated for the first set, okay, so this is the first ruffle. Then the second one now, I'll just push this, okay, I'll just stitch at the center of this. I'll just push this, then pleat the second one here, okay. Okay, so I'm going in now for the second one. Okay, so this is the finishing part. This is the ruffles, so I have to pleat it 3 times, okay. So thank you for watching till the end, till we meet in my next class. Love you all. Bye.